Well, bonjour, bonjour, comment allez-vous? Hey, I'm glad to see everybody's here. We hope you had a great week so far. But you know we're here to make it better. That's why we're here, all right? But in our usual fashion, before I bring my co-host on, we normally toast up. So let's toast up to a good week that we've had so far and a better week to come. So here's to everybody on the live. All right, that went down well. All right, listen, last week we talked about infidelity. We talked about infidelity and what drives an individual to cheat, all right? Now, if you missed that, I'm telling you, we had a bang-up discussion with a lot of different opinions and points of view. So if you missed it, you can check it out on my Facebook page. But this week we're going to be talking about compatibility. Do you have to be compatible with your partner in order to have a successful relationship? You know, a lot of us look for that perfect relationship and we look for that perfect mate. So we want to know, is being compatible a necessity. And if you're not compatible, is that relationship going to fail? And the question is whether or not people understand what compatibility is. And it's not just like being like your partner. Or maybe you think it is. All right? But anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring my co-host on. And I'm so glad we got so many of you in here already. That shows me that you're interested. And thanks for the flash. Okay? All right, hey Jeffrey, let me bring my co-host on and we'll get it started. Okay, that's one. Okay, all right. All right, hey, what's going on?
Yo, what's up, Mr. G?
Oh man, I can't call it. I'm trying to live life as best I could, man. Best I can. You know.
It's middle of May. Middle of May.
Yeah. It seems to be getting by real quick for us. So I don't know whether or not it's the food we eat or whether or not the days have got shorter. We just think it's going fast.
It's definitely
I
going
don't
fast.
know what it is. Hey, DeJoya. Oh, Lord.
How y'all doing? Hey.
We're doing fine.
Yes, I've been living my best life, baby. See me? I know y'all do see me. Yes, I've been living my best life.
Okay, I didn't know whether or not you was having some difficulty or not.
We thought maybe you was on a yacht in a harbor somewhere in the Mediterranean. That might be why you ain't coming in clear.
Hey,
we didn't know what you was doing.
Hey, listen. Hey, don't be surprised if I might come up on here one day and be over there for real. Now, don't be surprised. Like I said, see me.
I'm not surprised. That's why I said that. I'm not surprised. Real lunch lady. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
We wouldn't put it past you. Yeah. Okay, but before we get started, let me say this, and this is a metaphoric statement I'm making, and I'll explain to you why I'm saying that in a minute. But once I took in a pig, and I posted this on my Facebook, cleaned it and helped it. And in the end, it always went back to the mud because that's the place it belongs. So I once had a pig and I helped it, I fed it, and I cleaned it. And in the end, it always went back to the mud. And that's because that's the place it belongs. And I'm saying this because I want people on the live to understand. When you help somebody and they don't receive your help or they don't appreciate your help, you should not be disgruntled. You should not be upset. You should not try to understand why. Because the place that they are, before you rendered that help, that's the place they belong. And no matter what you do, and no matter how kind-hearted you are, those kind of people are going to always go back to the mud. That's because that's where they belong. Now, I said that because I had a conversation earlier during the week. And some people try to understand why when you're helping someone, when you're going out your way and you're doing things that you don't necessarily have to do, you're doing it out the kindness of your heart and because you've got love for that individual, and they refuse it. I'm not saying they flat out refuse it, but they don't show you appreciation. They don't really acknowledge your help. You should not feel any kind of way. I'm telling you. You should not feel any kind of way because those people, until they're ready to change, you cannot help them. But we're only responsible for us. and we react to anybody else's actions. We can't control their actions. We can't make them see the goodness in our heart that we're trying to share with them. So leave it alone, man. Don't worry about it. Don't try to beat yourself up and try to understand, man, I'm doing all I can for this individual, and it doesn't seem like they appreciate it, or they don't know what I'm doing for them. Leave it alone. Let it go. I'm telling you, I learned a while back, you just do the best you can do and continue to do good. That's all you can do. Y'all want to comment on that real quick, DeJoy?
Well, I'm just telling you that I stopped living for everybody else. Forget them pots and pans or whatever. I told y'all about them signs that I got. If y'all follow me on Facebook, I got a stop sign, a detour sign, a don't go that way sign, a red light, a green light, and a yellow one too. And I know how to tell you to detour the hell on out my life, and I know how to leave you alone too. So that's where I'm at. We ain't got time.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I know you must have experienced this too, where you're trying to help somebody, and you look at them like they're crazy because they don't get that you're trying to help them. That was crazy to me from the beginning until I ran across that wise saying about the pig.
Well, the crazy thing about that saying is it's very along the same lines, if you remember, of one of the sayings I said before, right? It is very similar to, very along the same lines, and it's along the lines, it says, never get in a fight with a pig because you'll both get dirty and the pig loves it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right. So right along the same lines of what you're saying is so true. We're not calling people pigs on the live. What we're saying is that people who are subjected to doing what they do, they like it. So as the saying, misery loves company. So that means that they like it. So now if you get into that matrix with them, you got to choose a blue pill or the red pill. Because if you don't take the blue pill, you're going to be stuck in a matrix with them and they're going to like it. And you're going to be upset. And then you're going to be leaving this conversation mad, angry, everything. And those people going to go on to get into friction with the next set of people. And you upset about what they said. And it's like we talked about before, right? It's like you drinking the poison, wanting somebody else to die.
Exactly. I'm just grateful, man. I've got to include you too. I've got some of the best loyal friends that I could ever want. So I know 100%. I'm blessed that way. And I know it's difficult to find friends, man. Hey, Mitch, what's happening? That's one of them. But these people are really, and the most important thing is that all of us, we do things for each other without any expectation. When you have that kind of relationship with people, then you know that it's God's sin, and you only run across those people once in a lifetime. And some people never meet people that way. So I'm always grateful. I'm always humble. And, I know my blessings are because I reciprocate that type of action. And I don't always give people the same action that they give me, because I ain't missing.
I don't know. I really learned what you taught me a long time ago. And when you first said it, I thought he cruel as hell to say that. But then I realized that, in those situations when you have those people that don't appreciate who you are, or don't appreciate what you're trying to do for them, or trying to make your life miserable because they miserable and I'm not going to be miserable. Everybody's stupid but me. And when I say everybody, I mean them people that's doing that. So I just have to know that some people's ignorance is just really long. It's a lot, and I just have learned to let it go and let them go out of my life. I told y'all I take off everything, your phone. I don't even know you when I see you the next time.
Hey, I'm a testament to that. And I'm like one individual. It wasn't a good before the car hit the highway. Can you call this person for me? No, I don't delete their number. I don't know it. My Lord. You didn't let the ink drown the paper. So yeah, some people can do it like that. Some people can. Yeah.
Listen, I pay attention to the writing on the trestle wall. No, let me tell you, you can't. Nope, nope.
And that's all you got to say about that. Huh?
That's it. That's it.
No if and or buts. Okay. All right. So
No.
let's get into it. All right. We talk about compatibility, and I believe that a lot of people really don't understand what compatibility is and what it means to be compatible. Because I believe that most people, when they try to find their mate, they're trying to find people who are just like them, are like all the things that they like, or have the same desires that they have. Um, and that's why we need to clarify what it is, because a lot of relationships are destroyed because people throw these words around and they don't really know what they're saying. So compatibility is the degree to which two people naturally, that's the key word, naturally work together emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and in the same lifestyle. It is the degree to which two people naturally work together emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and in the same lifestyle. And that's important to note, because if you don't work well together in those areas, then I'm not going to say that the relationship is doomed. It's just difficult. It's very difficult. It doesn't mean being identical. That's not what it means. And I believe a lot of people think that, okay, when I find this guy or girl, then I'm looking for me. I'm looking for someone just like me. And I think that's a big mistake. And it's been proven. It doesn't mean being identical. It means that your differences and your similarities can coexist. Your differences and your similarities can coexist without constantly creating unhealthy conflict, resentment, or emotional exhaustion. Now, I'm going to tell you, to me, that's a real strong point in a relationship. When someone is drained emotionally, you know how people check out before they even check out? That's from that emotional part of it. They aren't even there. They don't even care anymore because they've become emotionally exhausted.
They're drained. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
drained. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a big point for me to make, because a lot of people don't understand that. You know, I'm not doing nothing to where if you're not really showing any support, or if you're not really complimenting, and when I mean complimenting, talking about the things that they do well and not chastising when things go wrong, because we all fall short of the glory, right? We all do. So now, a compatible relationship usually feels more cooperative than combative. There's more cooperation than there is combat, as we say in the military, a combative environment.
Oh, so this don't include when I want to beat y'all beat people with the pots and pans. So
Hey, that's
we
being
not talking about.
combative. Yes, we are. That
Oh
includes that.
I ain't that way. I ain't that way to sugar though.
All right. Well, that's good. You that way to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, since we're talking about relationship, as long as you ain't doing it to him, then you're all right there. You know.
Cause I like him.
You wow. Hey Keith, I don't know what. Hey, what you drinking today, Miss O'Neill?
You know I got my Hennessy.
Oh,
Hennessy and
okay.
Coke.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I,
Hey
I was
Bella,
I was
how are
just
you?
really gonna say, to that point about people thinking that compatible means that it's a mirror image of you, or the person that you're with or whatever. But I mean, quite honestly, I don't want someone that's a mirror image of me, because baby, the world can't handle two of me, let alone one of me. And you think somebody like me, I mean, I just don't want that for the world. But I mean, I can't learn much from you if I find somebody just like me. I want somebody that I can grow with, that can teach me, that I can learn a different things from. I can learn how to love differently, how to process things differently. I want somebody that can love me back to them and keep me with them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Always, So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I want somebody to love me beyond the physical. I want somebody to first. When we talk about compatibility, you got to get with me in the mind, because I don't care. I mean, I ain't gonna say I want somebody ugly at the bottom of the shoe pit, but I mean, I can kind of deal with you a little bit. If we can just, what I'm saying. If you can get me in the mind a little bit, I might can get past the little touch look, because we don't all be perfect. I'm just saying that. Let me throw that out there. But
You
yeah, I
wilding
want
out. You
somebody
wilding
to
out here
first.
right now. You
Yeah,
wilding
she
out
I'm
here.
just
wild.
saying, but now for real now. But for real now, I want somebody to love me mentally first. So I feel like if you can love me mentally first, and we can get in there, and we can be inside, you can be inside my head and encourage me to think better and be better, then we can get to the other part. All that other stuff don't matter first. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I'm with you. Hey, Brian. Hey, Angela. Hey, David. Hey, now's a perfect time for you all to invite all your friends to get on this live, because we finished get deep down and dirty with it. So, but we're glad to have all of you here tonight.
See, look at you talking about compatibility. You gonna be talking about we finna get deep down and dirty with it. I mean, come on
Yeah.
now, watch what you say. Watch what you say now.
What
Hold
I
on,
mean,
hold on. Now,
no,
y'all, you talking about that?
what I'm saying, this information is gonna get real heavy, and we're gonna have, some discussion on it. That's what I mean by that. Don't
Oh,
be.
okay, y'all. Y'all know he turned that radio voice on. He talking about something. Let's get deep down and dirty with it.
Hey, no better. Who was that? Ashante? Hey, everybody. Okay. All right. So, listen, you still may disagree or have disagreements, but the foundation allows problems. If you've got a compatible relationship, that foundation allows for problems to be worked through without destroying the connection. So, just because people have problems, they think that it may be incompatibility. Now, every relationship is going to have problems, but those who really understand the connectivity to a very good, balanced relationship know that problems can be worked out if both parties are willing. So let's start with the first one. We're going to start with emotional compatibility. That's the first thing I talked about. This is how people handle emotions, affections, conflict, stress, and communication. The emotional compatibility is how people handle emotions, affections, conflict, stress, and communication. All right. For example, here's an easy one that everybody can wrap their brains around. One person may feel a constant need for reassurance, right? And we all met those people. Some people just need constant reassurance. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with them. They're just wired differently. So a lot of times when we get into these relationships, if those people are not emotionally stable as us, we look at them as if something is wrong with them. And that's not the case. One person may need reassurance, while the other person can be emotionally distant. You ever met people who really don't know how to share their emotions? You muted out, Miss O'Neill, because I see your mouth moving.
That's all right. You didn't want to hear what I said, but
Well, hey,
I was just saying, I was just
hey,
saying,
what they say,
I
look
mean,
at
does that
God.
include being clingy? Because does that include being clingy? Because I just have the need to be. I just want him right there. Like he don't have to do nothing. He don't have to say nothing. I just want him right there, and I don't even have to ask. I'll be like, did I do good with that? When we doing things and whatever. But I can just look at him and know when he's pleased and things like that. We can just look at each other and know, and we can vibe with each other without even knowing what we're gonna be doing. You know what I'm saying? If we're handling business together.
Right.
But I am like super clingy, and and a lot of people, have a problem with that. But I'm very affectionate, and things like that. So I mean, I don't know why people have problems with that. So I just tell people like, if you have a problem with that, then you don't need to be around me. Like that's because I need that.
Well, I mean, it just depends on your person. Some people don't like to be smothered. Or some people might call it clingy or whatever your rationale is, and some people may enjoy it. So it just depends on the individual. So to say clingy, yeah, there's a such thing as being overbearing.
I mean, why would I
You're
want? But why would I
overbearing.
want to be in a relationship with you if I can't love you? If I can't show you love, you
That
know what
ain't
I'm
what
saying?
we
Or
were
if
saying.
I don't want to be by you,
You
huh?
you're saying being clingy. We're not talking about showing you love and whatnot. We're saying that that's okay if you're with the right individual and they respect the fact that you are showing them love. The thing is, if you're with the wrong individual, they may feel that that's overbearing. I don't know which degree that we're talking about, but some people may look at it totally different than the next person. That's all I'm saying.
It comes down to what your love languages are, and that's what the joy and everything, right? Some of us read the book Five Love Languages, some of us didn't, right? So it comes down to what your love languages are. So if your love language is quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, gift giving, you know what I'm saying, acts of service, whatever it is, right? I think I said all five, but it all depends. Some people are a mix of all of it, some people are parts of it. So what happens is with our partners, we have to learn what their love language is. And sometimes it's okay to ask to a person, like, what is it that you like? They might say, I like, when you say nice things, or I like when you edify me, or I like when you give me gifts, or whatever, vice versa. So that's really what it comes down to. So if your love language is quality touch, or should I say quality time, physical touch, and your other person's love language isn't that, well, there's your clash right there. You see what I'm saying? There's your
I
clash right
mean, for
there.
me, I literally want you so
But that's
close,
the
air
clash.
can't fit there.
Would you say,
Sometimes
DeJoya? What?
so I want you there so close, air can't fit there. When it's
Right,
my
but
turn, it's my turn. Just
that's your
period.
love language. But that person has to understand that, and it also depends on what their love languages are. That's all I'm saying.
He
But
going to.
hey,
That's why I
hey,
got handcuffs.
shut up. Just you heard what she said, Keith. You wow.
She said
Well,
handcuffs. She about to take him prisoner, like make him a slave.
Yep. Yep. I got the handcuffs. If you don't want to be that close, you gonna be. You gonna be.
say they don't
And if
have
you're
a
not gonna
choice.
be, you gonna be.
They don't
Mm-mm.
have a choice.
No, sir. Nope.
No, well, that ain't gonna work. You can't do that. You can't just
He's
strong.
still here after 10 years. He's
Yeah,
still
but I'm
here for
just
10
saying you
years. He
can't
been here.
strong arm somebody into something that they don't want to do. Come on now. Now, if they
Yes, you
don't
can.
if
Don't
they
listen to
aren't
him, y'all.
rejected, if they aren't rejected, you good. Hey, 70s Ollie. Hey, Promised. Hey, Joanne. How are you? Hey, Ari. Glad to see all of you. Yeah, but so one person can be emotionally distant. Another thing is this, and this is a big thing where personalities clash. So sometimes you can have one individual who prefer to be calm in all discussions. That's me to a T. I don't like the drama. I don't like the loud, maybe because I'm a combat veteran, but when things get loud, then I start thinking it's a dangerous situation. Then I have to start, my spider senses go off. Then, I'm ready to go to war. So some people can prefer to have calm discussions, while the other person, they may shut down totally. And I'm saying this because I've seen these type of relationships. You have one calm cat or girl, and you have that explosive side that explodes because they hold everything in. And then when it's time to come out, it's at a point of where there's no discussion. There's just a lot of drama and conflict. So the best thing to do is to find that balance between the two. Again, being compatible is not being like your partner. It's not being identical to your partner. Being compatible is where you have issues, and because of the type of relationship and the compatibility in the relationship, you work those things out without a lot of conflict and a lot of detriment. Okay. Now, if emotional styles clash, if they clash severely, the relationship would start to drain both parties. We may think, okay, if I'm the calm one and the one that's making all the noise, it should drain that person. It should drain me because that's a characteristic that I do not want, and that's not what I prefer. But it drains the individual too, because when they have those differences, they're desperately trying to communicate. Which brings us to our next point, which is communication compatibility. This is the ability to understand and be understood. The ability to be understood and the ability to understand. And every person wants to be understood. I don't know one person in life that goes out of their way trying to be misunderstood. Everybody wants to be understood. Agreed? We agree with that, right? Y'all know anybody who don't want to be understood? I haven't met that individual yet.
You know what? I had to, I had to be taught that, and a lot of people don't want to admit that they don't know how to communicate, their feelings, or they don't know how to communicate in different ways, but I'm not afraid to admit that I had to be taught that. And I had to be taught that in order for things to work, that's needed. We have to communicate. We have to communicate correctly, and if you love a person, you're going to want to communicate with them correctly, and as far as like the different personalities, because y'all know what kind of personality I got. I'm sure y'all know it ain't no misunderstanding, but I was glad to find somebody like a total opposite from me, because they had to be the yin to my yang, or the earth to my fire, or the things like that. And so it's been a big difference for me. It was a difference for me, because I never seen the women in my life, and I'm not speaking bad about my mom or my aunt or those women that raised me. The women that raised me were always dominant. They were always, and they were always dominating, and they were always so forward, and there was never any calmness to them. It was just straightforward. Now, so I had to learn that that's not the way to communicate. One, that's not the way to run your relationship, because it don't work like that. So I have had to soften myself up. I mean, I still have problems, because he'll be talking and I'll be like, Well, what's wrong with that? Shoot, just suck it up and go on. You know what I'm saying? But and then I have to remind myself that, it's okay to be soft. It's okay to submit. And when I say submit, I'm not talking about, okay, he tell you to sit down and shut up, submit. No, I'm not talking about that, because that's wrong. But when I say submit, I mean, just like you want to be heard, sometimes you have to submit to your partner because he wants to be heard, or your part, however it go nowadays. It's a lot of he, she, all that. But we have to learn that there's nothing wrong with submitting and giving in. And sometimes it's just, like you always say, it's about keeping the peace. So maybe, to keep the peace, you're going to submit to this right now. And it's okay when things cool off to come back and say, you know what, baby, we were talking about such and such and such, and you were saying this. Well, I was upset because, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes we have to submit so that we can get to the core of things, and so that we can keep each other, and we can keep each other right there, or in our hearts and in our space, if we really care about somebody. You just gotta give in sometimes. So, that's where I'm at with that.
Oh yeah, well, I agree. Hey Otis, hey Poppy, Fatima, and my ass. Hey, glad you all could make it. But yeah,
You
I
guys can,
agree with
let
you.
me just tell everybody, hold on one second. If you guys really like the live and like what we're saying, if you just tap the screen, and just let us know, give us some love and all that good stuff.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, we definitely want you to participate and send us all these gifts and hearts, and yes, we love it. We love it. But anyway, so we get back to the communication part. Yeah, areas such as honesty, listening, conflict resolution, and respect during disagreements is a must. You have to have honesty. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to solve conflicts easily without damaging each other, and having respect. Many couples, y'all check this out. Now, y'all might want to write this one down. I'm going to drop a jewel for you real quick. Many couples love each other, no doubt. Many couples love each other, but they fail because they cannot communicate safely or effectively. They love each other, but the relationships fail because they cannot communicate safely or effectively. And if an individual feels unsafe, and I'm going to say this for most, on the part of most women, because if they're in very volatile and aggressive and violent relationships, they aren't going to be able to communicate effectively because it's not safe. So I think everybody understands what that part of it means. So you have to make sure that you create a safe environment so that you both can communicate effectively. Now, the next one is incompatibility, is values and morals. What shared beliefs do you have? All right, let me ask this question. And I hope Keith or DeJoya can chime in, or if you all want to chime in, I welcome it, because I want to know your feelings on this. Since we're talking about values, do you think if one person or one partner believes in God and the other does not, can that relationship survive? I definitely want to hear DeJoya's response to that. So let me repeat it again. If you have one person, one of the individuals in the relationship that believe in God and the other does not, do you think that relationship can survive? Go ahead.
Well, the first question I would have about that exact example is, are we saying that the other person is an atheist? Or are we saying that it's a situation of maybe different religious beliefs? Because that also matters too. Because God is
Yeah.
a general term in the sense of what could be for a lot of different people. So are we saying that that person is an atheist where they don't believe?
For the purpose of this question, we're going to say that they're atheists.
Oh,
They
okay. They're
don't believe
atheists.
in
Okay.
God at all.
All right.
So,
I'll say this, and this is just I look at things from the perspective of frequencies, like we talk about energy, everything has to match. We don't have to think the same way or anything like that, but if I believe in the supreme architect and my movements and spirituality of what I actually know, not what I think, not what I'm trying to figure out, what I actually know, right, of my life based on what I've done, where I'm going. You see what I'm saying? All these things. I can't compromise all of that for a relationship. So if someone else is coming from a different perspective in the sense of what we're saying with somebody like me, that relationship's most likely not going to work because they're not actually living from the same space, meaning sow seeds, faith, chase your dreams, right? Man or woman without a vision will perish, all those things, all these different things that we know are part of us because we're spiritual. So someone who is ignoring that aspect of it and they believe we're already at a disposition or at a discourse or we're not on the same page because how can we be a spirit, man or woman, but we don't believe in all of that? That's just my opinion.
oh, well, I agree 100%. Go ahead, Miss O'Neill.
Now, see, he was just nice about it, cause I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm gonna let you detour on way to the left, cause my feet be hot all the time anyway, and I don't need no added stuff. Cause one, we swapping energies and all that stuff, just for me to be in your company. That is us swapping energies. So just to have you on that wavelength, like I can't. No, we can't do that because if you don't believe that there's something out there greater than you to create all of this, including you, something that is so good, so great, so awesome, and that's why you breathing. Like we can't operate, but because I don't want him to take my breath because you
Go
what
ahead,
you
break it
do.
down.
So
Break it down.
no,
Break it down. Pots and
just a
pans.
no
We're going to
because
change your
I'm
name. Pots and
I'm
pans to
just trying to
Joya.
tell you,
Break it down.
and
You know what I
and
mean?
and yeah, and people just don't believe that. If you're in that space
It's
with
true.
somebody, and
It's
I'm
true.
gonna go off the adult thing. If you're in that space with somebody and you're in such a in an intimate way, and this could be intimately mentally or physically, and they don't believe that and they're passing that off to you, then that puts you in the same light. So you're gonna miss your blessings because you chose to intertwine with that thing,
Now, now, now,
So
no, you're
I wouldn't
right. You're
I
right.
wouldn't even go. Yeah. So we don't even explain. That's just a no for me. I'm gonna take your number out my phone, take you out the vision. I don't care how you can be the most. You could be so beautiful and whatever, but no, that's a no. You get that detour sign. Matter of fact, you get that do not enter sign with the big X.
And you know what? You're
Just
exactly
no.
right. And let me say this and let me clarify what I was saying before you came in too, because what you said is exactly right. The other thing is this. A lot of people misunderstand in the Bible when it talks about being equally yoked. And equally yoked has been made to into a whole bunch of different explanations and about this or whatever. So I do believe and I know for a fact that two people can be together and be from different I'll say religious disciplines, if that makes sense, right? Because it's not about the actual situation in that sense. It's about the whole. A lot of people think, this is probably another live. You know what? I'm gonna leave this one alone. Let me back out of this. Let me just say that now this is a different live. No, this is a different live. This is a different live. I'm thinking
I know, but
I'm about to kill. I'm about to
let me just
spend
say,
all our coins.
I know,
No, this is a different live. Go ahead, Dejoy.
but
Yeah.
let me just say this. Let me just say this. I am so rooted in that. Let me take two situations. and this is still compatibility because there's what relationship or not. But we were getting ready to take this test at my job, and I said, anybody that feels like they need prayer, let's lock up, and we got through praying, and this one dude, after I said amen, whatever, and there was some Eastern stars and whatever, so they said amen, we said some more to be, and I'm so used to saying that, right? And he said he joked about it. He was like, oh, blah, blah. And I looked at him and I said, man, I ain't said nothing to him since. And then there's a lady that we work with, and she tells you what she is, an atheist or whatever. I ain't even set by her. So then, when I say I mean that spiritual, yeah, I don't know why, but when I say I mean that a lot about my spirituality. So compatibility in all aspects. If you don't believe in that, I don't have no words for you at all. Just period. That's
Right.
just me.
I believe you. I
The,
believe
the,
you got your Wi-Fi on
yeah,
or your
the thing, the,
Bluetooth or something.
the thing I was trying to say is that when we talk about the higher being, there are different people from different areas and different regions and different countries and different things. And I've come across and deal with and have a lot of people from different parts of the world, and I've so one of my exes, she was, from that part of the world, let's just say. I'm not gonna say where because I could be, I don't want to put people on Front Street. And she was Muslim. So I didn't like look at the time of the situation where like the relationship, like, oh wow, she's Muslim, I'm this, I'm that. It didn't actually even affect the relationship at all because we both were spiritual, all those things. The only time that you would see some of that would come in with like, Ramadan or, other Eid or, what I'm saying, different things like that where it comes into play. But for me, I'm saying we would I'm going to celebrate Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I actually have to fast that whole day. I could just respect the fasting part of it. You understand what I'm saying? And not, let's say, be in certain instances or whatever. And then in the evening when we eat, we eat. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you don't, and the other person is not expecting you to turn and transform and be all of a sudden now you're just devout, whatever. It's respecting their discipline, but at the same time, understanding that we're all still one in that sense. That's kind of where I was going with the whole thing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, here's my perspective on it. First of all, when we talk about morals and your values, an atheist, I don't see personally, and don't y'all nail me to the cross, I don't see how that can work with an individual. I don't see how that can work with an individual who is spiritual, because I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual. So I do know that there's a grand architect of the universe who created all of this. And not only do I believe it, I know it. So in my particular case, I know it could not work, because there's too many different things that are on a higher level that we're going to disagree upon. Now, it doesn't mean that someone who is religious, if my mate is religious, let's say, just use an example, a Catholic, Protestant, I'm going to say them all because I don't want nobody to get singled out. Protestant or Muslim or whatever the case may be. If they have that within them, then I already know that they have some degree of spirituality. So from that perspective, we can coexist. Even though I'm not going to say I'm Baptist, I'm not going to say I'm Catholic, I'm not going to say I'm any of that. All I'm saying is I believe in a higher power. And I believe that there was somebody, something that created all of this, and we owe him the glory. So now, there are too many, if you don't have that spirituality, there are too many lifestyle choices. You might have, and I'm just pointing this out. I don't know how true it is. All right. So y'all leave me alone. In some of the relationships, a man can have more than one wife. All right.
And that's a no. We is not polying,
I knew
dollying,
you
or
was coming
whosoever.
in.
No. If I ain't enough, then I ain't enough. I'm as
You talking
excellent.
about
You can have all of
polytheism?
that.
That's you talking about polytheism.
Yeah,
That's
we not polying. We not
Can
polying,
I make my
dollying.
point
polygamy.
before?
Yes.
Can I
Nope.
make my point, DeJoy, before
I
you
just
make
want to get that
your
clear because we ain't sharing. And if you think we sharing, then you got another thing coming. I do got pots
Well,
and
you
pans.
interrupted my train of thought because what
Okay,
that
well,
means,
going on now.
that is a
Go on.
lifestyle choice. So I'm saying if that spirituality allows that, then we know that there's going to be some difficulty in the relationship. Even the way that people parenting skills are based somewhat on your spirituality. Your loyalty is somewhat based on your
I'm gonna just tell you this right now. And now you saying parenting based on your spirituality. All them times I would get my butt whooped and called on the Lord while I was getting it whooped, He ain't never answered it.
We ain't talking
I
about that.
I just want to make sure that
We are
I was
not
about to
talking
say
about that.
now. Because that's the
All I'm
one
saying
time
is
I
that
learned to pray real hard now.
sometimes your parenting methods are tied to your religion or your spirituality. What do they say? Spare the rod and spoil the child, right?
Yeah,
So
they were kind of right about that.
okay, so that that is tied to your religion, right? And many other areas, and particularly, especially worship. When they're worshiping, there are differences in there. So when we talk about, and since our subject is compatibility, what happens if those worship practices are different? Is that going to severely damage the relationship? I got to go out at 12 o'clock at night and I'm not coming back home until 6 sunrise the next morning.
Now you know dang on well you shouldn't even use that as no example because somebody gonna be
I'm
like,
just
I'm
saying.
gonna just go cheat right now because it's in my religion. I'm gonna be right back at 6 in the morning. Y'all, he didn't mean that. You could have picked another example.
No, that's a good example because that happens. That happens in some religions.
Cheating in the name of the Lord.
I didn't say cheating. I said you're going out. You might be going out to
Going out in
worship.
the name of the Lord.
Listen. You might be going
Shit.
to worship at 12 o'clock that night, or however they do it, and you may return that morning. Now, if you're
And I'm gonna be like, I guess you gonna go to hell this time because you ain't leaving this house at that time of night no more. That's it. That's it.
I don't know what we're gonna do with you. You can't even let us make the point to our audience. The point of the matter is that can happen if you have differences of your moral code or your religious code is different. All right? Should one yield to other religious practices? Let's say that you're a Baptist and you are engaged in a relationship with someone who's Protestant,
Oh Lord.
Jehovah's Witness. Huh?
Oh Lord.
No, I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question. Should one of the individuals in the relationship yield to the other religious preference?
It goes to what I said earlier
I
when I
think it's a
talked about
compromise.
it goes to what I said earlier about when I talked about Muslim versus being the way where we come from. Listen, I don't even know if it's compromise. I think it's more respect, especially if that person was that way before you met them. See, a lot of times in relationships, I think where people go wrong is that they don't respect the person for what they were before they met them. The person that you're meeting now has been that way for how many years that you met, where you're meeting them at that point right now. So now, if you as a person want to get in a relationship with them and change them, now you want them to be this, you want them to be that, you want them to do this and do that. No, why would you want them to do that? Because that's who they are. If they're coming to you as who they are, the same way you're coming to them as who you are, why do you want them to change that? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was saying about the whole thing about when you talk about the different quote unquote religions, it's about respect and it's about understanding. That has nothing to do with the relationship. And like I said before, I know about, like I said, Ramadan and Eid and all these different aspects of what happens when that goes on. But I'm not a Muslim, but I celebrated those things. You know what I'm saying? I actually was there at those festivals, all these. So, but why would you not be if that person is not being spiritual? Spiritual is a broad term in the sense of what spirituality means. Spirituality is not based on what religion or denomination or wherever you come from.
Yeah. Well, I say that I say that particular compatibility element for now because I knew it was going to be quite interesting and it's always controversial. The issue is that I'm wondering, can that relationship survive? I've never been into a relationship that people from the West would consider extreme. So, you know, from people from India, people from the Middle East, and people from a lot of different parts of the world.
I'm with you. I have. That's why I was saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, because see, sometimes your practices, that's a deal breaker. If you don't believe in this, and now in your case, Keith, you may have had that individual with some of that understanding. There are many relationships.
There was an understanding. That's why we were able to do it. I mean, obviously, we're not together now, not because of that, but yeah, there was an
Right. But my point in the matter is that you have some religions, and particularly in the Middle East, because I was over there doing Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and they actually have a strong reverence. I'm not saying here in the West that people don't believe hard in what they believe in. I'm just saying from my perspective, they have a deep spiritual connection with what they believe in.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You are 100% right. No, there's no question. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that could definitely be a deal breaker in a relationship. But we aren't here to, because there's no cookie cutter answer for that particular scenario. But it's just something to think about because one of the things when we talk about compatibility goes to your religion, goes to your morals, and it goes to your values.
Well, Mr. G, remember that part of the world too. Remember, you have arranged marriages. So when you talk about compatibility, what does compatibility really mean when it's an arranged marriage, right?
Hey, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, remember this part of the world we're talking about is arranged marriages. Like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, you serve in the military, you lived over there. I never lived in some of these places, but because of my business connections and all that, I've been dealing with a lot of these parts of the world. Like I said, I understand it. Think about that. Arranged marriages where it's arranged. So how does that play into what we're talking about? You see what I'm saying?
I can tell y'all right now, I wouldn't be living right now, and because I wouldn't be able to deal with that. Because
well, hey,
I may not like him.
I'm glad he said that because now that's interesting to me. Because even in biblical times, they had where the king would offer his daughter to a king of another land to his son because they were in that class. You know, they couldn't marry just someone. Even the story of Moses, when they found out that he was a Hebrew. You understand? So that's an interesting perspective for me. Being from where I'm from and because of how I was raised, I can't see no arranged marriage. I don't see how you can make somebody marry somebody they don't want to marry.
Y'all might well go on and cut my finger head, whatever they do, cut your finger head off, do whatever.
Well, that's why I brought that up. But listen, this is why I brought that up because the stuff that we're talking about, think of what I'm saying about how somebody may who have been brought up that way chooses someone that's not from their religion, that's not from that, that's not even part of the whole thing that we're saying. You see what I'm saying? And they're trying to, you see, it depends on the pressure from the family. It depends on all of those variables. And that's one of the reasons that like I was talking about, certain things didn't go a certain way. Obviously, I'll just keep it as general as I can. But yes, because, and then I learned these things later. I'm like, oh, wow. If I knew what I knew now, I never would have got into it. Like, yeah. Like, what is going on? Yeah.
Baby, I'd have been like, feet don't fail me now, because, baby, I'd have been running like Harriet Tubman and all them slaves, getting my 12
It's
cent a
easy
mule
to
and
say it.
everything else.
It's easy to say it later, but when you talk about how you met, the relationships, the connections, the attraction, the whole everything that goes into a relationship, it's easier said than done. We're talking as people who are experienced. You see what I'm saying? When you get into these situations, the last thing, how many times you've been met somebody and said, "Hey, before we have this drink, what's your religion?" How many times you ask somebody that? What's your religion? I need to know before we do this drink together, right?
Hey,
You ain't never
look,
did that, right? How many times you asked that question? So
hey,
it doesn't happen.
hey, when you don't even if they got on a hijab, you don't even
Yeah,
about nothing.
exactly. Yeah, come
You
on,
looking at
man.
this look nice right here.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly. You
yeah.
said I'll figure that out later. Ramadan is over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ramadan is over. We'll get to that next year. Yeah,
Y'all
hey,
wrong.
cut it
Y'all
out.
wrong.
What you mean? No, I'm being real of what happens in these situations because no, think about it. No, all jokes aside, think about it. How many times have you met somebody, had a conversation, and asked them in the first time talking about their spirituality, their beliefs, and what it is, and that those discussions don't come up until,
Oh, man,
unfortunately,
you're right. You're right.
until
You're right.
later. And what we should be doing as people is having those discussions up front, but not in a forceful, weird way. It's got to come up organically, if that makes sense. What I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree. Hey, you're right. Now that part right there, that's a whole different line. We can definitely get into all the different denominations and how it affects people who are of other denominations when we start talking about this compatibility thing. Because I got to say, from the outside looking in, that looks like a very, very hard road to travel and navigate. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be the art of persuasion.
It is. It is. That's why mine ain't work. It is.
Yeah, it's going to be the art of persuasion somewhere. Somebody got to fold. That's just how it goes. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So I
No, I
just
like
don't
what you
think.
said. Somebody got to fold, and usually, you know who folds is a person that comes from that stronger that background, like we're talking
Absolutely.
about, like we're going to keep it general, that background where it makes them fold, and then they say, oh, they from the West, like no, you
Right.
need to go over here with this guy, and because whatever, and that person could be the right one for them, but
Right.
but the discipline says they're not like us, so it's like, okay, boom, and that's why a lot of foreign people don't deal with the Westerners to some extent, or vice versa. But that's a different
Exactly.
live too. That's a different live too.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, Dolores, good to see you. Let me shout out some more people since this room is filling up. Hey, Lee. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Lucy. Great to see all of you. Yeah, that's a whole different element, man. When I was preparing for this, I didn't think about it from that perspective that you brought up, but I'm glad. So now I got another subject matter. We're gonna have to beat this one in the head,
And I,
man.
and I just
No,
want to
we
say,
got to come
I
back to
just want to
this one
say
because I got a
too.
lot of experience in this. Because hold on, Detroit, I give you this because some of my guys they joke about, yo, you always be dealing with them foreign girls, all these different. I'm like, yo, I'll try to tell y'all. So I learned about the different religions and different disciplines and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And even through my other business partners and all that stuff. But and the thing about it is we're all people. But the thing that drives us sometimes, some of us, especially in the Western world, is we move by what we've been taught or told, not so much by what is exactly the right thing to do, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So you have people that believe or move a certain way, not because they looked at it and figured out that that's the best way for them to move. They move that way because that's how they've been told to move. So now they could meet somebody that could be their match, but that person might not be from the same religion or same whatever. And how can you say that that person is not your match if spiritually, from an energy perspective, everything matches? You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, we've been lied to about all these different things. There's so many lies we can make out of this one. Let me go ahead, Mr. G. Go ahead. We can make a lot of lies out of this one. Yeah.
My whole thing is that we have to understand that's a very, very important and sensitive topic. So we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that later on. So I'm going to get off it right now. But I believe people can have different personalities and still succeed. You can have different personalities, but core values, when they conflict, they often become major long-term problems. When you start talking the personality part, you can get over that. And sometimes even religious, if they're similar, if they're too extreme or too far apart, that's a tough road to travel.
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah. No. I'm with you on that. Yeah, 100%.
Because it's easy if you're a Baptist and you're involved with a Protestant, or you're a Catholic and you're involved with a Protestant or Baptist. There's some similarities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's easy to navigate that. But when we talk about from different parts of the world, that's why I encourage people, man, to get out, travel, meet new people, see the world from a different perspective. Because if you stay in that same place, no wonder it's easy for us to be manipulated.
But Mr. G, you know what you said? That's why for me, interacting with some of these other cultures, being exposed to them, I see it a little bit different because I've been exposed to it, and like on a period, you see what I'm saying? So so my mind is more open than some Westerners. A lot of Westerners are not open-minded the way I am, and even some of my foreign people tell me that, even to this day still. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Hey Lee, hey Ricky. All right. So listen, so we also have lifestyle compatibility, how people prefer to live their daily lives. You know, such things as spending versus savings, social versus private when you talk about your lives, organized versus spontaneous, being spontaneous, career-driven versus being family-oriented. All of these things play a part in compatibility. Small habits become big issues over the years. I firmly believe that there has to be a balance. And that's in anything in life. I learned that through my spiritual awareness, and also through my Masonic travels, that there has to be a balance. We have a 24-inch gauge that we measure our lives by. 8 hours for something, 8 hours for something, and 8 hours for something else. But it's divided equally. And that's what creates a wholesome and a good life, when it's divided equally. Too much of anything is never good. Prove me wrong. Too much of anything is never good. There has to be a balance. So it's not only in relationship, but in everything that we do in life. And of course, we also have the physical and the intimacy, that level of compatibility. Compatibility in affection, attraction, intimacy.
Okay, so wait. Let me ask y'all this about that part now, because I had a discussion at work at the water cooler about this, and it's sad to say that a lot of people don't even know the term intimacy. They figure that a relationship is all the physical, but to y'all men on the live, y'all two I'm talking to, what, and if y'all, some of y'all on here in the comments, put that. What's most important to you all in a relationship, the intimacy or the physical part?
Well, I'm gonna let Keith. You want to answer that?
Well, I mean, me
And when I say
personally,
what's more important.
I mean, we don't have to say it in that way. I understand the way you're asking the question, but I'll say it this way. For me, I want to be connected with my woman emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so that we can talk, communicate, and I can almost think what she's feeling before she says it, or vice versa. Right? Physical is something that is there. And as you get older and mature, you understand that physical comes and goes. It doesn't mean that it's not there. You have to maintain the physical. But if all you're looking at is the physical, that's not the main part of the relationship is that connection, that ability to communicate and feel safe, like what Mr. G said earlier. So I want my woman, I want to be able to communicate with her in a safe way, in a way that she knows she can say anything to me. I'm not judging. I'm not prejudging. I'm not like, I'm open. Tell me what it is. Say it. Say it. Tell me. I want that type of situation, whatever you want to call it, emotional connection, spiritual connection, all the above. But that's what I'm looking for in a situation more than physical, if that makes sense.
Let me give
And
you
you?
mine. Let me give you mine. I agree with Keith 100%. The physical part of it, most people equate that to the sexual compatibility. Now, me personally, since I've been around the world twice and I've seen some things, the physical is the least important thing to me. When we talk about intimacy, the most important thing to me, and you all have heard me say it on this live, is keeping the peace. That's intimacy to me. When there's a peaceful environment, and when we talk about the affection, if we have peace in our relationship, the affection is going to be, it's intertwined. You can't separate the two. You know what I'm saying? So even touching hands. Now, some people are going to say, oh, that's corny. No, that ain't corny when you know your situation and your woman and how you lived your life. Here's the part that most people don't understand. Yeah, when we younger, only thing we doing is, as my daddy would say, would be as a man, is chasing tail. That's all we used to. And I think that's a rite of passage, but you have to grow out of that. Some people never get to the point of where they grow out of it. And then the other thing is this: you can have a relationship with people who bring you peace. It doesn't necessarily have to be your partner, but you're going to be judged by other people because the relationships looks intimate to them. But you understand what I'm saying? When you have a relationship with somebody, let's say that you aren't even involved. We're talking about compatibility, not only in relationships, but in life. So you have a relationship with someone that you're compatible with and that you enjoy and they enjoy you. You have the rest of the world and I know DeJoy, Keith, and everybody on this live. If you're a male and you've got female friends, and if you're a female and got male friends, you know what I'm talking about. Those individuals in your circle and outside of your circle, they're going to start passing judgment on you based on the intimacy of that relationship. It's a
The reason
no-brainer.
why I asked that question was because they jumped on me because I said that I would prefer an intimate relationship, or, just, I mean, I would want the intimate relationship because I want companionship and I want all of that. But if you can't get me in my mind first, like I said, or just by the little simple things, then there's no need for us going to the physical part. And everybody jumped on me because they said, well, now how we got to know how that is and we got to have that, because that's important. And I'm like, what if somebody is not intelligent and can't hold a conversation with you to even get understanding? Like, how do you get to the other part? How are you okay with
And
that other
here's the
part?
other thing
And
I'm going to say to that too. Hey, Sam. Yeah. Here's the other thing. See, a lot of people look at it and because I said it in that way, is that, oh, it's soft. Nah, that don't mean you can't bring that thunder, because we blessed. You know what I mean? So we still can do what we do. But what we're saying is, what I'm saying is that it does not be, it's not a priority in your life
He said
where
we can bring that thunder. Did you hear? Did you hear? We can bring that thunder, but you know
I
what's
didn't even,
crazy? But you
I
know,
didn't even want to say that.
no, but you know what's crazy? I was saying salute to the OG because I be thinking the same way, yo. Like, yeah,
yeah,
you don't know that we could put you in the gravel, fam. Like
yeah.
we like we actually are being very, very graceful in the way that we say the things that we're saying, but in real, this is real life. But
Right.
understand that real life outside of the live, oh yeah, no,
It's a whole different,
yeah,
story.
it's a
He like, we got
whole
this.
different
But
ball game. You
yeah,
better be ready for it. Cause go ahead.
yeah,
Hey,
and
but
so
see, but
yeah, but for me, go
the
ahead.
reason I said that is because I mentioned holding hands and, just the intimacy of the conversation and the peace. Somebody might misconstrue that like, oh, you can't really
I
get
know
that.
exactly what you meant. They think because you holding hands with your girl that you over there, you know what I mean, that you mince meat. No, actually, I'm the guy that you don't want to deal with. Like, actually, but yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead,
with you.
Detroit.
I'm with you.
You
I'm with
better
you,
be
Mr.
glad.
G. I know what you
I
meant.
be
Yeah.
wanting to be like, you better be glad he holding my hand, because baby, these knuckles like this.
Yeah, look at you. And there you go. Like, if I let his hand go, it's going to go in your head.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But like for me, for real, I can't understand that, because a lot of them were women, and there was a couple of guys sitting there. I'm thinking, well, maybe they saying that because maybe they like one of them guys over there or whatever. But I can't even see that, like, putting that out there, that's important. Because I just don't. I mean, I like the handholds and the laughs and giggles. One time we sat in the car and ate ice cream in the rain. Like two kids swinging. That's what I like.
Oh, yeah.
So we can really, yeah. And they were looking at me like really corny. Like, what? That's what you do? I was like, yeah. Like, for my birthday, we went to
Hey,
Chick-fil-A and we went to the
hey,
park, and
hey, but I guess they probably just assuming you need to let them know. Okay, when it's time for intimacy, tell we got stars that go off too. Now, don't get
I
it
mean,
twisted.
yeah, we be going to the moon and back. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I just, and then too, like, I tell people, like, my life is so busy. Like, we had 2 speaking engagements this week and things like that. Well, back to back. My life is so busy that I'm tired or I'm worn. You know what I'm saying? So the time that we can just sit down and talk and I can just relax and be myself is like, okay, I'm good, and that's good for me. Not to say that don't matter, but it was like I just don't understand how most people now just capitalize off of the physical thing, and then you realize that, okay, that's all right, you like that, but then you don't even love the person. When you think about it, you don't even have anything in common with them, or you're not compatible with it, as we're talking about. There's no compatibility there, because physical actions don't determine compatibility or any use, any good space in your life. You allowing somebody to take up space in your life that's holding space for somebody that could really do something with the space. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's just how I look at stuff. When I hear people's conversation and I hear people's responses to stuff, I be like, you taking up empty space, you taking up some space in somebody's life that don't even need to be there. You know what I mean? And and that offended them in such a way. But I mean, I really didn't care, because I was like, think about it. You holding somebody's space in their life just for the physical aspect when you're not even into them any kind of way.
Hey, not only that,
So I mean, that's my thought on that.
what happens when the physical part starts to fade? Then what do you have to hold
Yep.
on to? All right.
Cause can't nothing fix that. Sometimes Viagra, none of that stuff, whatever that stuff y'all use, can't
I
nothing
ain't
fix
talking
that.
about.
And
I
then
ain't
us
not
women,
only talking about that. I'm talking
I'm
about
talking about whatever
when
that
the
stuff. But
body
I'm just
start
saying,
going.
people.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. People use all of those things and feel like when that goes, then you find yourself trying to find things to supplement when nothing was really there in the first place. Because when you get to the point where that doesn't work, or things happen. Because women, we go through things too. What else do you
yeah. That's
have?
what I
You
mean.
know,
That's the
yeah. So
main
I
part
don't know.
that I'm making. Because
Yeah, that
sooner or
part.
later, the longer you live, like my daddy used to tell me, just keep living, just keep on living. You'll
Yeah,
see
yeah.
when you looking at me like, oh, Dad, you getting older, you this and that. You say, just keep on living. You understand?
And just
But
to
anyway,
clarify, I wasn't saying that you use. I was just saying that the
oh,
stuff that people use.
I
Yeah,
know
that's what I was saying.
that. I was just saying.
That's what I
I
was
know that.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
listen. Now, the next thing is that when those things are missing, then there's a major imbalance that can create frustration or emotional distance if they are ignored. If you're working on them, then fine. Then that's going to bring a lot of compatibility back into the relationship. All right. Hey, Edison. Hey, ASCII, African Queen. Thank you all. We got 1.3 in here, so thank you all for joining us. So let me get back to the main question. Do we have to be compatible for successful relationship? I believe you don't have to be 100% compatible, but you have to be compatible enough for long-term stability. Love alone is not enough in a relationship. Y'all hear me out. Love alone is not enough in a relationship. Why you laughing, DeJoya? That's the truth.
Ooh, I'm
We
just trying
can't,
to tell
hey,
you. I'm just trying to tell you. Sure ain't though.
hey, Tina Turner said, what love got to do with it? You know what I mean? So love alone is not enough. Two people can deeply love each other and still struggle, and they still can have issues, major issues. If communication is I'm sorry, if the trust is broken, if emotional needs go unmet, our lifestyles are completely, I'm not saying all the way, that part of the way, but if they are completely opposite, we're going to have issues. You can't have a lifestyle that's completely the opposite. And the reason being, a relationship can only survive if you have mutual respect, compromising, emotional safety, and enough common ground. What many people confuse with compatibility is chemistry. Compatibility is not chemistry. They confuse compatibility with chemistry, strong attractions, excitement, or passion. So chemistry can feel intense. What you heard about? Chemistry can feel intense, but it will not last if deeper compatibility is missing. So your chemistry cannot last if you don't have deeper compatibility. They often confuse trauma bonding. Now, what is trauma bonding? That's when people feel connected through chaos, pain, or emotional highs and lows.
Half the black people in America.
Well, I think half the
I'm
people.
just saying it is.
So that intensity in itself can be mistaken for compatibility because you have an individual that you both are going through trauma with, and you are both getting over a relationship or a breakup and whatnot. So you can feel that is compatibility, which is
But
not.
that's what I was saying in the beginning. I'm grateful, in my life that I found somebody to love me back to me, and to allow me to love enough and to allow them to love me. Um, and their love keeps me there because there are so many of us, that are have gone through trauma and we don't even realize it. So we're angry, we love angry. Everything is angry, and like I said, it took me a long time to get past that. And so that's why I said I'm grateful in my life, that I found somebody, one, that wouldn't allow me to keep revisiting my trauma. And when I do, which I had to explain, like, hey, if I have a time where I have a relapse, don't shut me down, but don't let me bask in it either, so that person has allowed me to love me back to myself, and allowed me to love them, and to be as clingy, and things like that. And I feel like the most important thing in relationships is that, you got to get to a point where you realize you need what's healthy. When you talk about compatibility, you need what's healthy for you, and you have to tear those old roots off. Because if you keep old roots on there, eventually, everything will die. So if you want your heart to continue to die, and your mind to continue to die, and you to continue to just fester like a sore, then you can keep that. But if not, when you finally find that person, or you get with somebody that is complete, opposite of you, or has a different way of thinking, or, and I mean in a healthy way, then, embrace that. Because I've gotten to the point in my life where I've had to embrace that, and so I think that that's a big part of being compatible, a big part of loving yourself, a big part of loving them, and loving life, period.
Well, you trying
That's
to
just
write
my
a song?
take. Huh?
You over there trying to write a love
But like,
song or something? Him loving me.
no, I'm speaking. Hey, I'm speaking some truths to y'all. I am the real Ernst lady, and I got the juice, the juice, not the tea, baby. When I said I got juice, I got
Oh,
juice.
hey, it sounded to me like you
That
were
part.
remixing Al Green.
Hey, I'm poetic. I'm poetic. Now don't get it twisted. Now don't get it twisted, baby.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying, we often confuse convenience with compatibility. Some relationships continue because of comfort. They continue because of comfort, not because the relationship is truly healthy. A successful relationship does not require two identical people, but it requires shared values, healthy communication, emotional maturity, and the willingness to work together through their differences. So that's what compatibility is all about. Without enough compatibility, relationships can become stressful, which I ain't ever gonna allow, unstable, and emotionally exhausting. With it, even difficult challenges become easier to face as a team. All right. In the end, real compatibility is less about finding the perfect person and more about finding someone with you can build a healthy, balanced, and lasting connection. That's what compatibility is about. You want to be able to build a healthy and balanced relationship which is going to last. So forget what you heard. Compatibility has a lot to do with a lot of different elements that deal with real life situations. It's not being identical to anyone. If you're looking for another you, I guarantee you that relationship ain't going to work. Because you already know what your shortcomings are. You know what your
Ain't gonna
strengths
work. Ain't gonna work.
yeah. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So if you know that individual, if you could just magically create another male version or female version of yourself, man, that individual is going to catch hell because you already know what they're going to do when they're going to do it because it's a split image of you. I wouldn't even want to try that. I'd be scared. All right, Keith and DeJoya, do you all have anything else to add? I'm about to sign off. We got
No, sir. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm good. I'm through giving y'all my love story.
Oh man. Hey, I want to thank all of you all for joining us, man. We love all of you all. We want y'all to come back every Wednesday because this thing is growing 1.88 right now. So thank all of you for joining us. Join us every Wednesday on We Talk. And we're going to have all these discussions that really you can benefit from. As you notice, we don't talk about a bunch of political anguish and disappointments that are going on in our lives. We talk about things that we can readily correct and feel better about ourselves. All right? So with that, we appreciate everyone for joining us. We hope to see you next Wednesday. So, au revoir, au demain, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye, and we'll see you all next Wednesday.